Wow, did we ever get dumped on? Lots of rain today. I've been working between showers. This is my project of the day. We've got solar panels. They're 39 by 67. These bed rails are 68, so it's perfect length. So I just narrowed them down to the width I needed and drilled a couple extra holes. So now what I'm going to do is make a little joiner bar for them in here. That way there'd be a space in between the two panels, because they hook up in the middle. So we're going to have 4 of these all together. You have to be able to access the middle, and they have to stay cool. They run more efficiently when they're cool. So I'm going to try this joinery and just do a little mock-up on everything. And then I'm going to cut legs that are 12 inches long or so. And I'm going to attach them to these corners. The leg will be down here. These other legs, I'm just going to maybe cut them off. I don't really have to do anything with them, but right now they're keeping everything up out of the dirt, so they're kind of handy. So yeah, I got to mock up 2 more of these. I'm going to do this first panel anyway. I'll start with 1 before I mess up, the rest of them. But yeah, I've got all these bed rails. These ones are 1.25 inches, pretty light. They don't weigh much. I got a bunch of 1.5 inches over there. They were a lot heavier, and I had 4 of these identical beds, so that was an easier thing to start with, 4 that were the same. Yeah, so anyway, I better get at it. I'm going to cut pieces, and I'll keep cutting. I'll cut all my legs right now, and see how much of this I can get done before I get rained out again. Wow, that was a lot of cutting. I had to cut 16 legs, 8 pairs of legs. So yeah, they're going to go like that. That'll give us about 1 foot off the roof. Should get some air circulating around that. So once it's installed, this is going to be a permanent member. The panel is going to go underneath that at one end. And at the other end, I've got this piece of angle iron here. I'm going to make this in 2 pieces. Possibly, or I might join it, don't know yet. And then put the panel in, and then you just put this angle back over. The panel tucks in under here. That's the theory. Cut a lot of steel, made a few mistakes. I don't always get it right on the second try. But it's coming together now. Looks like bed frames are us around here. Look at it all. My God, it's everywhere. And there's a pile over there too. Yeah, it took a lot. Each of these legs, like I say, they had to be cut in pairs, and they had to do a little relief here to get around those rivets. So they were cut out of the middle of these cross member pieces. I had a whole whack of them that were the same. So I just took advantage. This is the hole we're going to use on the top. And then this slot down here is going to be to attach it to the roof. So it should all work out pretty good. I'm getting chewed by flies. They're really getting nasty now. I think it's going to rain. I feel like attaching a couple of these legs and getting this thing up off the ground and having a look at it. Might have time to do that before dark and before it rains on me. It's going to be quite the beast. It looks like I'm building some kind of a trailer or something. Alright, better get at it. There you go. Got all the legs under it. I fastened that bar down, so they're all attached now. These ones will be semi-removable. Put the panel on and put that back over it. So tomorrow I'm going to have to drill a bunch of holes and mount the legs to that rail. Rail wasn't long enough, so I'll have to put it in 2 pieces. A couple extra holes. Need a bunch of extra bolts, some shorter ones. These ones are way too long. But I think that looks alright. Should be fine. I'll stick the legs on the other one. Maybe now. Maybe in the morning. Getting really late, I'm getting hungry. So yeah, back at her tomorrow. Wow, way nicer day today. I bolted my legs on last night and everything seemed okay, so I put the flange on here that's going to go on the roof. Ties all these bottom legs in. And do some cutting and re-bolting on the corners down there just to make a good solid bond. Bit of work, a lot of drilling, a lot of cutting, a lot of figuring out. But it's really solid and I don't even really have the bolts tightened yet. I think I will put a couple of diagonal braces in though. From down here at the bottom of the leg up to, up near center here. Give it a little bit of stability. Never know. Better to overbuild it than underbuild it. So I want to get my other one up off the ground. I got a lot of work to do on that, and I'll get it to the same point this is, and then I'm going to cut braces. I'll cut them all at once I set up for it. Everything has to be leveled in gooder and square. This is pretty square. I got it right on the money here. But I'll have to readjust everything, and then once it's all square we'll tighten the bolts up and it should be home free. Cottage free. Free hydro, yeah. So the first thing I'm going to do is put this member together. That holds all my panels together at the right orientation. Kind of working my way down, but I have all the legs cut. It's going to go really quick. It's just a matter of throwing a bag of bolts at it. Drill a few holes here and there, piece of cake. Looks good though. I like it. I'm happy. There we go. Pretty near done. I ran out of bolts. I still have to bolt the bottom track on over here. That one. And I'm going to put a few diagonal braces on it so it doesn't flop over. Yeah, a little bit more. Probably most of the day tomorrow. I say piece of cake, but it's usually a lot longer. So many holes to drill, and that steel is hard. I actually had to heat one hole up with a torch just to finish getting the drill through it. And I'm getting shooed. Everything's out tonight. Sandflies, mosquitoes, black flies. Alright, well, I'm going to call it a day. Back at it tomorrow. Hopefully the weather holds out. I want to put a little bit of black paint on, especially where I did cutting and whatnot. Keep the rust off for a little while. Right on. So I got two complete frames, well, complete-ish. I'm going to put a little bar in here to hold these things together. And I'm working on the diagonal bracing now. This is going to sit on the roof like this, so we want it braced from the top down. So I got a bunch that are 32. So I think they'll do. And it's just those swing arms on the bed where the wheels attach. So I got a few of them cleaned off. I'm just going to cut the rivet with the little grinder, and there's another one here. So you just cut them maybe a little below flush and use a punch. Hold on to the punch with a pair of pliers and then hit it with a big hammer. That's what I do. So I'm going to finish cleaning these up. I'll make a pattern and start cutting the angle braces. I have to put that little spacer in just to hold everything square and true, because these holes I'm making don't have any slots in them. So this one's going to go in between here, and it's also going to act to hold the panel down. Get across the nuts here. Yeah, see, it's a good wide piece. So it'll cover over here. So this will be the removable piece once it's installed up there. So to take the panels out, you just undo the two nuts here and slide that off. So anyway, that's the idea. Yeah, and then I'm going to put a set of braces on the outside legs coming the other way, lengthwise. Put them from here down, and then I'll join this middle part of the chunk, and it'll all be self-supporting and well braced. I still have to cut all those bed legs off down here. I didn't do it at the time because it was all highly experimental, and I can get at them fairly easy. I can take them off. Just got to cut the rivets and hit them with a hammer and they come off. Alright, I'm going to clean these up and make a pattern and then cut a bunch of them, I guess. That just means more drilling. I'll probably have another 40 some holes to drill, or better, like 48. Yeah, something like that. I'm so tired. You know, it's a homemade deal, but still a lot of work. Work. This is like day number 4. But it's kind of bushwork and whatever, right? I think it'll work and it'll look good, so we're going to go with that. Alright, I'll clean these up now. Well, everything's bolted together. I made these little tabs to hold the panel down. You just take one bolt off, the panel comes up. So I cleaned up all those braces. I went around and marked each one. So I put a little mark where I have to cut it. I have to cut that little tab out of here, and then this will fit flat against there. I'll just use that bolt. This one I'll have to drill another hole. I think there's 2 of them. But these other ones, I'm trying to take advantage of holes that are already there. So that'll go on that hole. So when I cut that tab out, it'll fit flat against there. And it also has a hole in the bottom so I may have to take a little schmidge off the corner here to get it down further, but then I only have to drill one hole in each brace, theoretically, which is good because there's been a lot of drilling. So I'm going to get these on real quick and then square them up and then make a few braces going the other way. Wow, still a lot of work. Looks pretty good though. I like it. How does that look? Pretty slick, eh? I got all the long braces in. I didn't attach the bottoms yet. I'm going to square them up. I got to square everything really well. And then I cut the small ones for across the top and the bottom. So I just did the same thing. I just made a little relief cut. Took advantage of a hole that was already in the piece of metal. And put my glasses on here. Yeah. So we just square down. That looks pretty darn square right there. Oh, the mosquitoes are bad. I was burning cardboard to try and chase them away. Okay, that's pretty square there. So then I just fumble around with this camera. Anyway. So yeah, I bolt the bottom. And I know the leg is square. And then I just clamp it there and drill it right in place. I just use the old vice grips. There we go. Now I'll drill a hole in that and just throw a bolt in it. And just chuck my square again. Pretty darn good. Alright. I'm going to get the rest of these done. I've got 4 more to do. It's getting dark and I'm losing blood to the mosquitoes. Yeah, I just joined them together. It's going to be about a foot in between these. Put a little bit of clearance room so we can walk in between them and hook them up. I joined them together, yeah. It was just hard to square them without joining them together. Yeah, it's within a 1/4 inch now. Yeah. Probably a little heavier than it needs to be, but I don't know. It'll last. It's June 3rd. I've got the wood stove on. It's so cold out. Got my long johns on today. It was freezing this morning. Anyway, here's the panel in the frame. It fit nice and square. My idea about tucking it under this front edge though didn't work. But they do fit right in that opening, so we're just going to modify our fastener a little bit. So we got it all lagged down on this end. I just drilled into the roof sheeting, and I went inside and put carriage bolts up, and then a little blob of tar underneath each one there. Yeah. So it looks really good. These long braces, I may only use 4 of them. I'll just drill 4. I don't think that's going anywhere. My son says it's like way overkill. He's probably right. He's pretty smart. Anyway, it looks really good. We ended up putting the vent here in the space. And there's my little plateau I'll bring all the wiring to. Got our wires already run underneath the boot for the vent into the attic, so that was pretty easy to do. So I gotta put a little bit of tar under that rail and bolt it down before it rains. Then it's craft dinner time. Oh yeah. Yeah, it looks really good. I like it. Look at that for an array. Hey. They look pretty good. My son said they're putting out 150 volts even though we got sun blockage from those trees and it's a cloudy day. And my big head's up here, you know, eclipsing the sun. So I guess that's a success, 150 volts. So I've got all my little locking panels in, all the ones that I made. Turns out we had to reconfigure a few things, and I need to make a couple more of those corner brackets. I'm just going to go on these ones. I'm just going to use this bolt and put a little hook over here, a little angle iron action. So we're going to go cut those, put them on, and then this project is done. So happy it's you know, it went really well. We managed to get all our wires run in through the we used the boot from that vent. I think all we have left to do is put some kind of a ground wire. It's probably not a bad idea. I think it's required. Ground wire, and I don't know, Jesse knows the rest. Very nice though. I'm really happy with that little view from back here. Yeah. Turned out nice and straight too. Just got to make sure you measure careful and drill carefully and watch your square. So there you go. Pretty much complete. We're going to do a little bit of zip tie action, tie some of them wires up. Oh, here comes our ground wire man. He's got a ground wire man.
We've got 11 amps right now in the shade.
Is 11 amps good?
11 amps is good in the shade.
Ha! Cool.